Nearly 80 years ago, on a sunny day, 5 Navy planes embarked on a routine training mission known as Flight 19 from their airfield at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. However, neither the planes nor the crew were ever seen again. This incident gives rise to the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is an area roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. While there are no hard statistics, over the last century, numerous ships and planes have simply vanished without a trace within the imaginary triangle. Unusual characteristics of the region had been documented before. Christopher Columbus, in his log, mentioned peculiar compass readings in the area. However, it wasn't until August 1964 that the term Bermuda Triangle was coined by Vincent Gaddis. This occurred in a cover story for Argosy magazine discussing the disappearance of Flight 19. This article sparked a surge in the creation of myths, essentially giving rise to a virtual cottage industry in myth-making. Numerous unconventional theories have been suggested to account for the fate of the vanished travelers. The vanishings have been linked to the actions of massive sea creatures or extraterrestrials. Various hypotheses, such as alien abductions, the presence of an enigmatic third dimension crafted by unidentified entities, have all been proposed as potential explanations. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle will forever be associated with the ill-fated flight that occurred on December 5, 1945. Departing from the U.S. Naval Air Station in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Flight 19 consisted of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers with a total of 14 men on board. The aircraft took off around 2:10 p.m. that day for a routine navigational training mission. Led by instructor Lieutenant Charles Taylor, the mission involved flying a triangular route with 3 legs, incorporating several bombing practice runs over hen and chicken shoals. In an era preceding the widespread use of GPS for navigation, Taylor became hopelessly lost shortly after the bombing run. Pilots navigating over water in 1945 had to rely on compasses, estimating their duration of flight in a specific direction and determining their speed. Taylor's aircraft seemingly experienced malfunctions in both of its compasses. According to the transcripts of in-flight communications, indications point to the fact that Taylor was not donning a wristwatch. Amidst the vastness of the ocean, there were no discernible landmarks in sight. Within minutes of learning about Flight 19's predicament, 2 PBM Mariner flying boats were dispatched for the rescue. Adding to the tragedy, one of the rescue planes also disappeared along with its 13-man crew. The Bermuda Triangle region displays peculiar characteristics, sharing a similar reputation with another location called the Devil Sea off the east coast of Japan. This area has garnered attention for several decades due to unexplained incidents involving the disappearance of ships. According to legends, the waters of the triangle are notorious for causing even the sturdiest vessels to vanish, along with their crews. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to smash the like button and consider subscribing to receive more content like this. You might be wondering, do airplanes and ships really avoid the Bermuda Triangle? First of all, the Bermuda Triangle does not appear on any world maps, and the U.S. Board on Geographic Names does not recognize it as an official region of the Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, the absence of official recognition of the Bermuda Triangle as a distinct and dangerous region by navigational and geographical authorities means that planes and ships do not actively avoid the area. A recent check reveals that the Bermuda Triangle is highly trafficked, with many planes passing through. Anyone flying to the Caribbean will likely cross over the Bermuda Triangle. In fact, if you have sailed or boarded a cruise to the Bahamas or Bermuda from America or the Caribbean, you will sail through the Bermuda Triangle. The reduction in reported incidents can be attributed to a number of factors. Firstly, modern navigation and communication technologies have significantly improved over the years. GPS, satellite navigation, and advanced communication systems help pilots and sailors precisely navigate through the region, reducing the likelihood of getting lost or encountering difficulties. Secondly, there is a better understanding of weather patterns. The Bermuda Triangle is known for unpredictable and sometimes severe weather conditions. Improved meteorological understanding and forecasting allow ships and aircraft to plan routes that minimize exposure to adverse weather. Over the years, many of the mysteries and myths surrounding the Bermuda Triangle have been debunked or explained by scientific evidence. The fact that the area within the Bermuda Triangle is heavily trafficked could account for some of the mystery. Any region with many ships passing through is bound to experience more accidents than a place with less activity. Combine that with the fact that the Bermuda Triangle is often swept by hurricanes, and it's not hard to see why ships might occasionally sink there. According to Karl Krushelnitsky, an Australian scientist who performed research on the Bermuda Triangle, everything can be explained by human error, bad weather, and heavy air and sea traffic, not alien abduction or energy beams from the lost city of Atlantis. Krushelnitsky also briefly addressed Flight 19, the most well-known of the Triangle's disappearances. He maintains that the disappearance of Flight 19 was most likely due to rough weather conditions in the Atlantic that day, with waves as high as 49 feet. This is in contrast to reports at the time suggesting that conditions were ideal for flying on December 5, 1945. Krushelnitsky explained that Lieutenant Taylor was not in optimal condition, potentially affected by a hangover, and lacked essential equipment like a watch. Moreover, Taylor's history revealed a pattern of getting lost and previously ditching his plane twice. As for the search and rescue seaplane, Krushelnitsky suggests that it may have exploded in the air due to its known poor construction. Flying boats were notoriously accident-prone and were even nicknamed flying gas tanks for their propensity for catching fire. It all starts with methane building up in the seafloor, and any kind of disturbance can release it into the ocean in one big burst. Methane hydrates are a frozen amalgam of natural gas and water. They form in two settings, in polar permafrost where the ground temperature stays below 0 degrees Celsius, and in seafloor sediments deeper than 300 meters or 984 feet. This massive burst of bubbles will rise to the surface, breaking up into tiny bubbles along the way. These smaller bubbles will carry water with them as they shoot upward, and this water, possessing momentum, will surge above the surface. In theory, this could potentially tip whatever is floating on the surface. According to Helen Chersky, an oceanographer and physicist at University College London, the rush of methane bubbles could potentially sink a ship. However, every ship is built to prevent disturbances on the surface from tipping it over. This is due to the airtight compartments underneath the ships. So, what actually happens when methane leaks occur is that they simply push the ship to one side. Therefore, methane bubbles definitely do not sink ships in the Bermuda Triangle. Bruce Jernon, an American pilot and author, is known for his accounts and theories regarding unusual phenomena in the Bermuda Triangle. In particular, he gained fame for his experience on December 4, 1970, when he, along with his father and business partner, encountered what they described as an electronic fog while flying through the Bermuda Triangle. This was briefly what happened. Bruce was scheduled to fly from Andros Island Town Airport in the Bahamas to West Palm Beach Airport in Florida. He had made a number of journeys from the Bahamas to Florida and vice versa, and such a trip usually took about an hour and a half. Bruce took off and started gaining altitude. Weird things began happening right away. At about 1,000 feet, he saw a small cloud ahead. Strangely, it wasn't because the plane was getting closer, the cloud was actually getting bigger. Bruce had to fly through it, but everything turned out fine on the other side. Another mysterious cloud appeared at 11,500 feet. This one was massive, and Bruce had no other choice but to fly through it too. So, he concentrated, took a deep breath, and in they went. At that moment, it got dark as night all around the aircraft. Not a single sliver of sunshine got through. But this wasn't a storm cloud, and it wasn't raining. All of a sudden, he saw flashes of white light. They would appear and vanish quickly like lightning. But this pilot knew this certainly was no lightning. Bruce continued flying for an additional 30 minutes when he suddenly recognized that it was the identical cloud he had passed through earlier during his ascent. But now the cloud was cylindrical, and the plane was flying through its center. Bruce thought he could never get out of that trap. But a minute later, he saw light at the end of the tunnel. He kept the yoke straight ahead. He was almost out of this nightmare. But all of a sudden, unexplainable things started happening again. The navigational instruments started wigging out, and the electronic instruments were all malfunctioning. The walls kept narrowing, smaller and smaller, wrapping like a vortex. He persisted in flying through the tunnel, resolute in his determination to escape. Suddenly, he burst out of the foggy trap. As Bruce later recounted, he experienced a weightless sensation for 5 seconds as his plane exited the tunnel. Desperately, he contacted the communication tower to find out his position, but no one could locate him. The plane seemed to be lost inside an electronic fog. Bruce continued flying blind for 3 long minutes until a voice crackled over his radio, saying, "We've located your plane over Miami Beach, Florida." Bruce checked his watch. He had been flying for less than 40 minutes, and yet he had covered a distance that usually took him an hour and a half. Meanwhile, his view was finally starting to clear. He rubbed his eyes in amazement as Miami Beach came into view. After his plane landed, he checked the remaining fuel and glanced at his watch. Following a brief calculation, he found himself even more confused. The plane hadn't consumed the expected amount of fuel. Bruce thought about this bizarre occurrence for a long time. He consulted with professors and experts, but none could provide an exact answer to what happened that day. Eventually, he formulated his own theory and even wrote a book about it. Bruce believed it all came down to this electronic fog with white flashes. Bruce was fortunate to escape the electronic fog, as he believes numerous planes and ships have become trapped and crashed due to spatial disorientation. Many have disappeared, and some have even disintegrated. Writers discussing the Bermuda Triangle frequently highlight the eerie nature of the mists and fogs that unexpectedly envelop ships or planes. However, is their mysterious nature really proven? Similar to many other regions, the Bermuda Triangle can experience typical atmospheric conditions such as fog and mist. These conditions occur when warm air encounters cold water. The moisture in the air cools rapidly, forming small droplets and creating mist or fog that hovers over the ocean. In various theories, there's a belief that the Bermuda Triangle mystery might be connected to the legendary kingdom of Atlantis. Ancient legends suggest Atlantis disappeared beneath the ocean ages ago, leading to speculation that it could be located directly under the Bermuda Triangle. The lost city of Atlantis is a legendary island nation first mentioned by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a powerful and advanced civilization that existed around 9,000 years before his own time, or approximately 11,000 years ago. In 2001, The couple of marine engineers Paul Weinzweig and Pauline Zalitsky, with the permission and support of the Cuban government, undertook exploration of the waters off the coast of the Jacobibes Peninsula, Pinar del Rio. They discovered an underwater city, and it was located close to the Bermuda Triangle, adding to the intrigue of their find. Photographs taken by a submersible robot reveal several giant pyramids and sphinxes sitting at the bottom of the ocean, suggesting that an ancient city was inundated and sunk into the sea. This theory closely parallels the story of the lost underwater city, Atlantis. Some claim that it is these advanced civilizations with powerful energy sources that are causing disturbances, leading to disappearances. The Bermuda Triangle has one of the highest incidences of UFO sightings, and alien abductions have been popular explanations for the disappearances. Believers argue that extraterrestrial beings are responsible for the strange disappearances, with UFO sightings frequently reported in the area. These believers speculate that aliens might possess advanced technology, allowing them to extract and abduct people or entire vessels without a trace. An article published in 2023 claims that people are convinced the mystery has been solved after a TikToker posted a video showing a screenshot from Google Maps on the island of Bermuda. Some argue that this provides evidence for the existence of aliens, labeling it as crazy that it went unnoticed for so long. However, others contend that the supposed UFO is simply a distorted image of a bird. Some even suggested it might be a leaf from a tree or a drone. We'll look at some notable occurrences involving the Bermuda Triangle. 1492, Christopher Columbus reported seeing strange light and unusual compass readings. 1872, the Bermuda Triangle has been invoked, even though Mary Celeste was abandoned in a completely different part of the Atlantic. 1881, the Ellen Austin came across a ship that was floating abandoned in the sea. Ellen Austin transferred its salvage crew onto the unknown ship and attempted to sail with it to New York. The unknown ship got separated in a squall and disappeared. Later it reappeared, but again without a person on board. 1918, the USS Cyclops, one of the largest U.S. Navy cargo ships, was sailing through the Bermuda Triangle when it disappeared. There was no distress signal, and the crew of over 300 was never found, along with the wreckage. 1945, 5 Navy planes embarked on a routine training mission known as Flight 19 from their airfield at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Neither the planes nor the crew were ever seen again. A rescue plane that also disappeared without a trace. 1968, the USS Scorpion, SSN 589, was a nuclear-powered submarine of the U.S. Navy that disappeared in May 1968. The actual cause of its disappearance is still unknown to date. 1973, Robert Bob Corner was an experienced private pilot flying from Miami to Freeport, Bahamas when he disappeared. Another plane, which was only 10 minutes behind him, was advised by the control tower to retrace its flight path and locate Bob's plane. However, the trailing plane couldn't find any sign of him. 2015, the cargo ship SSEI Faro departed Jacksonville, Florida, bound for Puerto Rico with 33 crew members on board and sank with all hands in Hurricane Joaquin. 2017, a small private plane, MU-2B-40, simply vanished while flying from Puerto Rico to South Florida. The weather was reported to be perfect. After an extensive 30-hour search, debris was recovered and later ascertained to be from the missing plane. None of the bodies could be recovered or traced. The Bermuda Triangle's mystical reputation has endured for decades, captivating the imagination of those seeking the unknown. However, when analyzing the scientific explanations, it becomes evident that there is no magical force at play within the Bermuda Triangle. Ultimately, exploring the unknown is part of human nature, and the Bermuda Triangle will likely continue to captivate our imagination for years to come. If you enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive more content like this. Also, Check out other videos as we continue exploring mysteries, incidents, and crimes